Did you know that Stress Away is the only oil with vanilla in it in Young Living Essential Oils? Did you also know that a banana is actually a berry? And so is a watermelon. Weird, huh? Alright, we're going to be talking about greens. They know everything because they think they go and they search it out and they find it and they read about it because they want to know it all. They want to know because that's genuinely their calling. So we're going to be talking about greens. And they're referred to as the thinker. Greens are really cool. The physical appearance of a green is they have a really more of a bony framework. They have large bones for his or her body. They could still be short, but they have predominantly larger bones. They have more high cheekbones, and when they walk, they have more of a mechanical walk. It's more about them getting to their destination than the journey, because they want to go to that next place and they want to learn about it. They don't really take the time to stop and look along the way. The personality of a green is they have a very pioneer spirit. They go out on their own a lot. They like to travel and like to new places. It's once they find this place, they stay there, but they like to basically be on their own a lot of the time. They're not really softies. They do not give way to their feelings. They keep their griefs, sorrows, ambitions, and most of their real opinions to themselves. So they're very reserved. They are man or woman of slow movements, very methodical and systematical in all that they do. They have a place for everything, and everything has its place. Very, like it says, everything's in place. I wanted to say OCD, but that's not very a good thing to say, no. They just like things in order, have a structure, because that's the way that works for them, and they've got it down pat, and that's the routine that they like. They don't give way to nerves. They know the facts and they stick to that. So someone can't really intimidate them because they know what they're saying. They're not really scared for anyone to try to call them out on it because they know the facts and they're not afraid to tell you them. So you can't really debunk a green. And if you do, that's one for the books. Let me see. And change is not in their nature. Once they find a comfortable rubric, they don't change for anyone. They stick to it. So once they figure out a way that they like something done, suggesting something new to them is really hard, really difficult. So try to work with what they have. But green should always be open to changing, but then in an extreme green, once they find that routine, they're sticking to it, even if another way would be shorter. It's because they're comfortable with this. They know it. That's what they've got their brain wrapped around, and that's what they're going to stick with. They are not prone to outbursts of emotion. They just like to sit back and they'll watch. They'll watch everything. They know the facts. They know what's going to happen. So it's very hard for them to get amped up about it because to them, they know the truth. And whatever you try to say or get out of them is not going to work because they know what they believe in. They're one-track minded. If they're there to teach you about a specific thing, like a starter class, that's what they're there to do. They don't intermingle. They're there, they're going to go up there, they're going to teach the class, and then they're going to sit down. That's what they're there for. They're very dependable, always on time, and they like responsibility. As soon as you tell them, you need this done, if they commit to it, it's going to happen. When a green says they're going to do something, it doesn't matter. You give them that due date, it's going to get done, and it's going to be done correctly. So that's really awesome, and they are always on time. So if you give them that due date, they're not going to be waiting a few days later, as where a blue or a yellow, you would have to maybe give an earlier time to be able to get it on time. You know what I mean? And they love responsibility. It gives them a sense of pride when they know that they have been given a higher standing, a higher responsibility for whatever that needs to take place. Friends of a green. Once you're friends with the green, you're always friends with the green. It's very hard to make real friends with the green, or a true green. They don't take to very many people, but when they do, they do. They're stuck. They love you no matter what. So it's really hard to get rid of a friend that's green. And so it's awesome to have them at your side. And so when a green doesn't like you, dun dun dun. Greens do not like people who try to speed them up, hurry them, or make them change their habits. Flashy people irritate them, but their worst aversions are to the people who try to dictate them. This type can not be driven. The only way to handle them is to let them think that they're having their own way. So you need to get a lot of reverse psychology in this. So they really don't like a lot of the people who try to tell them what to do and try to tell them how to do it. With greens, you kind of have to give them a framework of what needs to be done and let them figure out how to do it. Give them a goal, tell them you get to decide however way that it gets met, and then to them, that is the best. They've been given a goal and now they can do their own thing to get to it. And so that's exactly what they want. And so that's how you would work with them. And like it says, they don't want flashy people. They don't want people who are all up there trying to get them in the limelight, trying to get them out socially. It's not what they're there for. They like to study. They like to learn everything they can about it and complete the goal. Their strongest points, they have quite a few. Let's see. Greens are really good with endurance. They're going to get it done even if it takes a while and it takes hours. They're there, they're going to read about it, they're going to go on and see videos, they're going to make videos about it because that's what they do. They love it. They love that feeling of completion at the end, so they're in it for the long haul. And another strong point for them is the capacity to withstand hardship. Like I said before, they're very it's very hard to face them emotionally. So they're there and they're going to withstand it because to them they know what they believe in and that's what matters. They're also indifference to weather, which is kind of cool. They don't really, weather doesn't bother them either way in a physical sense. They keep their word. If they tell you that they're going to have something on time, it's going to be on time and you don't need to worry about it again, I promise. Whereas a blue or a yellow, you've got to stay on them. A true green, yeah. They're orderly and systematic. They're going to get things done in a very neat way. They're going to make, even if you never see it, they're going to make charts and they're going to make a rubric for them because that's how they need it in their mind. They need to have it lists and labels and charts. That's all for them, even if you never see it, even if you never want to see it. That's how they have to have it in case you do, because it has to all be laid out. They're very consistent and faithful. Like I said, once you make a friend with them, you're always going to have that friend, and they're going to be very consistent each time. So if you know the first time you get a project and it's absolutely amazing, or the first time you come to a class and they have it done beautifully, that's how it's going to be every single time. You don't need to worry about them dwindling. They're going to stay that way because that's who they are. They set that bar and they keep it. They're very dependable. Like I said before, they are very dependable. You ask them to get something done, you need them at last minute, they say they will, they will. They're very honest too. They don't see any point in lying because they know the facts and they're not afraid to back it up. Their weakest points, oh no, their weakest points are that they're stubborn. Like I said before, once you try to get them to do a different thing, they don't want to do it. They're stubborn. They know the way they want to do it and that's how they want to have it done. They're slow. They do take a while. They will get to the deadline that you want, but it takes them their own pace. Like where a lot of reds and blues, they're there. They've got to have it done. Got to get it done now. Whatever they're doing. But greens, they take their time. They are very, like I said, methodical in all that they do, and they need to make sure that it's done correctly, like a fine wine. They're overcautious, and that can be a problem sometimes because, you know, they don't want to take leaps of faith, especially in Young Living. You have to do that a lot. You have to believe, and sometimes that can burden them, being overcautious. They're stingy, and that's horrible. They like to keep whatever they've got and keep it for themselves, so they really need to work on that. They also have a social awkwardness. When they get out in front of people, they'll read what the script says, but if anything is off of that, anything needs to be ad-libbed, they can't do it because they're like, oh gosh, I don't know what to say. They need a book, they need something in front of them, they'll keep their head down. But so that's something that they have to overcome too. And they do have a lack of emotion, which can be perceived as not caring to other people because they're up there and they're a very straight face. They read the facts, that's it. Where some people can interpret that as not caring, which stinks. So you have to work on that. Okay, and so the world does need greens. They need them because they're information gurus. Like, seriously, you need to know anything? They're basically a walking encyclopedia. So this is awesome to have greens on your team. You need them because you need to know the facts. That's where you get to the places that you go because you know how things work. And nobody can debunk it or nobody can tell you that, oh, that's not true, whatever you're saying, but it can be backed up with facts, and that's why greens are great to have because they enjoy learning it. They keep the world in check when things tend to get emotional. Like I said, they tend to not get emotional. So when things are hectic everywhere, they're going to be the voice of reason, and they're going to tell everybody the facts. And that's how it works. It's going to bring everybody on the same level, because you can't really argue with a fact now, can you? And so that's greens, and I think they're totally amazing. I love reading and learning about stuff, so I can totally relate to that. Now, the color that's opposite of green, because we do need to know what works with us, what works against us. Because if you're a green, mostly, that's one of your top 2 colors, you need to know what color you're missing, because this is the color that a true green clashes with, which is blue. So a true only green clashes with a true blue, and these are the most extreme cases. So it's important to know that, because you need to know what you need on your team. Do I need a little bit more blue? Do I need some more reds or yellows? If you're a green, you just need to know so you can mix it all up and have it all in there. And that's it, guys. Did you do it? Did you watch your video? What did you think? Is this your first one? Have you watched them all? Did you watch your top 2 colors and figure out a little bit more about yourself than you before you watched these videos? Well, I hope you did, and that was the goal. Okay? But make sure that you click on the Facebook link so you can come back to our event, because we're still going to be talking about all this. We're going to do lots of stuff. It's going to be so much fun. So I want y'all to click the link and come on back. But if you're not done, go ahead and click the other colors. You can still watch them. You can rewatch them as many times as you want. But don't forget to come back to the Facebook page. I want feedback. I want to know what you think. What color do you think you are? Do you think it matched up? Do you think that the test matched up with who you think you are? Did you learn more about yourself? Did you learn something that you didn't really think you knew, but you recognized it once you watched the video? A habit or a personality trait that you never picked up on before that was original to you. All right, you guys, I'll see you back at the Facebook page. Bye.